Your path in life is harder right now because your calling is so much higher.
Have you ever wanted something so bad, whether it's a job, a relationship, an opportunity, and you were so convinced that you were going to get it, or you just wanted it so bad, and then it didn't happen? You got that rejection letter, or that person broke up with you, or that opportunity fell through. We all have, and it sucks. But I'm here to tell you, those missed opportunities, those heartbreaks, all of that is redirection and protection. 2024 has started off as a rough year for me. It is now July 2024. The first 6 months of the year have just been so rough, and I feel like I just faced rejection and failed opportunity and heartbreak, just one thing after another. I'm here to share my experience with you guys and how I've made sense of it all, how I was able to understand why all of those things had to happen for me to be redirected to another path and protected from something worse from happening. A recap of what has happened to me this year. It started off on New Year's Day when I had to put my cat of 11 years down. She was 16 years old. I had her for 11, but it was her time to go of old age. So that just started off the tone of the year. And then a few months later, a job promotion that I was convinced I was gonna get, that was gonna come through, that was gonna project me to make all of this money, that fell through as well. A few months later after that, my life was altered in the blink of an eye. I had to leave Miami, a place I'd been living for 3 years, uproot my whole life and move back to my hometown of Austin, Texas, something that I was not planning on doing whatsoever. And on top of all of that, I'm also in a bunch of debt. So I'm just like, give me a break. All of that has happened. It's been extremely difficult on me, and I understand that everybody's going through something. People could have it far worse than me, but this is just my experience, the difficulties that I'm facing in my life, and how I've gotten through them and made sense of them, and now understand why every single one of those things had to happen so something else greater can unfold. So we're gonna work backwards from me landing in Austin all the way back to my cat dying, because there really was a reason and a purpose for all of that. I was living in Miami for 3 years. I am now living in Austin, Texas, and this was not something I was planning on doing. I signed a whole new lease in Miami, and I was gonna be there for a 4th year. In a blink of an eye, I needed to make the decision to come back home to Austin, Texas to be with my family. A family member of mine is going through some major life-changing medical conditions, and this is just where I need to be right now. I am so grateful to be here for my family. I love them dearly. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else under these circumstances, and leaving Miami was something that was very heartbreaking and sad for me to do. But you cannot control life as much as you like to plan. The universe is going to throw you a different plan and a curveball, and you have to adapt. A few months prior to me having to uproot my life out of Miami, in March, I thought I was going to get a promotion from my job. I had talked to management all year long, and that's the direction that I was headed. They gave me all this extra work to prove that I was ready for the role. I was convinced I was going to get it, and then it didn't happen. And at the time, I was pissed and didn't understand, like, why could this happen to me? What are they doing? If I had gotten that job at the time, I didn't realize this, so this was in March, I would have booked a trip to Asia immediately, and that trip was supposed to happen in June. I found out that I needed to move back home in May, right before my new lease for my 4th year in Miami was gonna start. And so that's when I started to realize, like, oh shit, me not getting promoted was a good thing, because I would have immediately booked that trip to Asia and it would have cost a lot of money, and then I probably would have felt obligated to stay in my apartment, because I wouldn't have been able to get out of my lease so quick and move back, because I had this trip that I had to take and plan in June, when in the grand scheme of things I needed to be getting out of my apartment before June and in May, and using the money to move out of Miami instead of taking some huge trip. That promotion also would have given me the comfortability to also try to just keep that apartment in Miami, and I just would have been making the trips back and forth to Austin. And I mentioned at the very beginning of this video that I was in debt. That just would have made the debt even more. Ended up working out because I was able to get out of my apartment before my whole new lease started. I didn't have to worry about that trip to Asia, and I could release that apartment. And then in the start of the year, on New Year's Eve, having to put my cat down that I spent 11 years with was the most heartbreaking thing I ever had to do. I just thought that, it was just her time, right? She lived a long time with me. We had such a good life. So when it was her time to go, I was was fine and I was okay and I wasn't questioning why this is happening to me, why the timing of anything. Like, I was fine and I was at peace with that. But the family member that I had to come back for and live for, their medical condition, doctor's orders, there cannot be any pets in this house. If I still had my sweet girl, I wouldn't have been able to just come back and be with my family. I think I still would have tried to, because I wasn't going to give that cat away at all. Like, that cat was the love of my life. I would have stayed in Miami with no promotion and then just trying to again go back and forth, which would have just made the debt and the stress too even worse. So I was able to make sense of all of those crazy big events that happened. Thankfully, even though I didn't get a promotion, that job still let me keep my job, and my job's in Miami, but I'm working remotely. What if I immediately went to go look for another job prior to me finding out I had to move home, and then I get a new job? What if I went and got one of those jobs and then I was like, hey, I need to move back to Texas? Like, what? They probably would have let me go, right? Or even just starting a new job in the midst of having such a life-altering change and also needing to have like my mind clear for, my family member. That just would have been insane. So that's just another reason why me not getting that promotion was a good thing, because I'm able to work remotely. They understand everything that's completely happening here. They support me. I'm able to be readily available for my family, and that's what's most important right now. When I got here though, I started to think of ways that I could get a part-time job to just make some more income. So I was working with the festival brand. I asked them if they had any opportunities for me to come on more permanently, and I felt really confident in that. That didn't work out. I am an accountant full-time, so I started looking into freelance accounting, and I got a client, and then I started working with him, and I was like, I don't like this, I don't want to do this. So that didn't work out. And before I went to move to Miami, I used to do acting here in Austin, so I was like, I'll just get back into acting and pick up gigs here and there. I'm not getting any gigs, so that's not working out. And then I was like, fine, I'll go get a part-time job somewhere. I used to work at Old Navy. I was like, I'll go to Old Navy or work at a little pet store, whatever. Like, I just need money coming in, and I have time. Looking at my calendar is like, okay, when can I start actually working? Because I have a lot of events coming up, like either festivals or trips or weddings, bachelorettes. And when I started looking, I was like, there's just no time to take on a part-time job. They're not going to let me take off every other weekend for these events that I've already committed to. So that's not working out. So here I am trying to do everything I can to make extra money so I can get out of debt faster, and nothing's working out. At the time, I'm like just taking rejection after rejection after rejection, but now I see on the other side of it that all of that had to happen so I could be protected and redirected somewhere else. Like, I had an epiphany one day. I went to a coffee shop, pulled out my laptop, and started like writing down all of these areas of improvement that I wanted to work on. And then I just had a bunch of ideas come to me. And it's like I had like a light bulb go off and show me that all of these things are happening. Like, I'm constantly being rejected and turned down. There's a meaning for all of it. And when I sat there and mapped out my life and all the direction and areas that I want to improve on, like learning Spanish, being better at YouTube, and working out, getting in shape, and amongst a whole nother other things, like, I have a purpose and I have a dream and I have these goals to just change my life significantly. And I have all of this time now. All of those rejections from these part-time jobs led me to be like, okay, girl, we're gonna come up with a plan of action and we're gonna start living out our purpose. I don't want to get into the details of this big dream and life goal and purpose that I have right now, because it's in the works of it, and I don't believe in like sharing things too prematurely. But I made sense that all of that rejection happened so I could be redirected to my life path and purpose. And while yes, I want to pay down my debt as fast as I can, like, it's getting paid down, right? I'm here, I'm saving money on rent, I'm able to pay down my debt, and it may not get paid down as fast as I want it to be, but it will. I'm the only one who's putting this pressure and timeline on myself. Like, I still have a really good credit score. I'm not trying to buy a house anytime soon. I have my car. I don't need to have this debt paid off quickly. Like, that's just a timeline I'm putting on myself. By me redirecting my energy and putting all of this extra time into myself, I'm gonna get to where I want to be. I'm gonna watch my dreams unfold. Also too, like, the purpose of me coming back to Austin, Texas was to be here and available for my family. If I go get a part-time job, I'm not gonna be readily available. And that's gonna be 15, 20 extra hours on top of my full-time job. Like, I'm gonna be exhausted, I'm gonna be cranky, I'm gonna be angry, I'm not gonna be be here and available, not only for myself and all my goals, but like the purpose of being here, which is for my family. All of that had to unfold. All of it. My cat passing away, me not getting promotion, me being uprooted out of Miami, me getting all of those part-time job rejections, all of that had to unfold for me to be redirected to my purpose in life, to finally start putting in the effort to up-leveling and taking care of all the things that I've been putting on the back burner. So even though it was frustrating and heartbreaking and couldn't understand or comprehend why, in the midst of all of it, I'm on the other side of it now. And I see that all of that rejection was protection and redirection. And I'm sure you have some circumstances too, say like you were in a relationship and your boyfriend broke up with you and you're like, oh my God, why did this happen? How come he doesn't want me? But then a whole nother opportunity opens up. You're now able to move out of state and go live your dream job because you don't have this person tying you down now. That rejection redirected you, your path, your dreams. So many examples like this can go. If you have any examples of being rejected and then you seen why you were redirected or protected, show me. I would love to hear about it in the comments. I'm thankful that I was able to find a meaning to all of this and see why I was redirected and protected from all of those heartbreaking or sad or frustrating things that happened. But if you're still trying to navigate and make sense of why things have happened, watch my previous video on everything happens for a reason. That's essentially what all of this is. Like, everything happens for a reason. That rejection is redirection and protection, and I made sense of all of it. In that video I tell you recognizing when things are happening, what do you do and how do you get out of it? And how do you make sense of why everything's happening like I finally have, and I'm finally in a good place. I'm not crying every day anymore like I was. I'm not frustrated anymore. I'm not mad at my job anymore. I understand why all of it happened, and I feel good knowing that I'm working on the path that I was redirected to every single day. My name is Alicia, and thank you guys for watching. I'm here to help you navigate any tough situations as I'm going through them myself. I'm a 34-year-old woman still navigating and figuring out life, and it's never too late to make changes or take control of your life and manifest the life of your dreams or improve yourself. So stick around for more videos like this to come.